Hey guys, good morning. Today is January 8th, 2018, Monday morning. Happy Monday. And I'm excited that you're joining us today for Wise Up Day 8, a daily dose of wisdom from the book of Proverbs for your daily life. Have you seen The Greatest Showman? It's an awesome movie. And if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to see it because it is so good. So good. But it's a movie that tells the story of P.T. Barnum and his circus, and it's like the biggest circus ever in the world, right? And Hugh Jackman plays the main character. And there's this one specific scene because he decides that he wants to start this circus, so he takes his family and he sets up like his museum and all these things. It's kind of like Ripley's Believe It or Not at first. It's really similar if you've ever been there in town. But it's just like that. And there's a scene that he's ready, he opens it, and it's him and his daughters and his wife, and they're handing out tickets and they're handing out flyers and they're saying, "You, sir, come to the greatest show," and da-da-da, right? And they're like yelling to everybody, trying to get people to come in and just see this awesome thing that he just created. And they spend day after day after day trying to get rid of these tickets to get people to come in the doors. That's exactly what our proverb is about this morning. We're in chapter 8 of Proverbs, verses 1, 2, and 3. And here it is. I encourage you to read the whole chapter today, as I always do, but you'll find out why, because it actually continues way past where we start. Here it is. Does wisdom not call? Does not understanding raise her voice? On the heights beside the way, and on the crossroads she takes her stand. Beside the gates in the front of town, at the entrance to the doors, she cries out loud, right? And then the next several verses are the things that she's crying out loud. She's basically saying, listen to me, hear what I have to say. Come in, just like P.T. Barnum, just like Hugh Jackman does in the film. Come in, everybody, if you can hear me, come in and see this amazing thing that I have. Is the same thing that this proverb is talking about wisdom doing. Is calling out to all the people passing by on the streets and saying, listen to me if you want to know life. Listen to me. And so she's calling out to all of these people as they pass by. Just the same way that he has an amazing one-of-a-kind gift for the city, wisdom is the same way. But it's this image in the following verses that I encourage you to read, where in this chapter it talks about the things that wisdom hates and the things that wisdom loves, and it really separates them into kind of a couple different things. But here are just a few things that wisdom hates: perverted speech, pride, arrogance, evil, right? These are all things that are separate from wisdom. Wisdom doesn't have anything to do with that, because somebody who embodies and understands wisdom is not somebody who's prideful or arrogant or plans evil things or mean things. Yet some things that coincide, that live with wisdom, if you will, are things like knowledge, justice, truth, good counsel, righteousness, all of these things. It tells us that wisdom brings honor, blessing, and favor. Hey! And our neighbor's home. And wisdom is another thing that you obtain life when you have it, right? It's a life-giving thing. And why is that? Just like we talked about on day one, is that we're created in God's image, and part of that image is his infinite wisdom that we have. And so here's P.T. Barnum doing the same thing, calling out to all the people on the street, and here's wisdom doing the same thing to you and the same thing to me. So how can we do that? How do we begin to live with this wisdom? How do we begin to obtain wisdom that God says, if you just ask for it, I'll give it to you? Two things that I can think about that we can do starting today. And that's surrounding ourselves with it and practicing it, right? If somebody's shouting on the street corner, what's the first thing you have to do if you want to be a part of what they're saying? Surround yourself with it. Walk up. Say, hey, what are you talking about? What do you have to share? You're surrounding yourself with it. Well, how do we do that? Getting into the Word every single morning, and then thinking about it and meditating on it and letting it kind of stir around in our heads. The second thing is practicing it. Now that you've approached the person and said, hey, what are you talking about? What's all the shouting about, right? They tell you, right? God's Word tells us when we read it and surround ourselves with it. And then we go, okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to practice that. How can I embody that? So surrounding ourselves with it and practicing it. And those are the two things. So that's what I want to encourage you with today, is reading that chapter and beginning to look at the things that are of wisdom and are of not, that are of God and are not, and putting that with our lives and saying, what of this can I surround myself with, and then how can I practice that today, trusting God's leading to change me today. So I hope you guys have an awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow.